Chapter 7, Attitudes and Attitude Change Influencing Thoughts and Feelings by Alexander Hillier. Attitudes defined by the book is evaluations of people, objects, and ideas. The origin, attitudes can have genetic component, but social culture and situations can partake in shaping our attitudes. Cognitively based attitudes. Attitudes based on beliefs about properties of an object. For example, could be brands like Nike, Adidas, Reebok, Under Armour, etc. The brands tell you that this could be sportswear or it could be more expensive. Another example would be automobile mileage. When buying a car, let's say a vehicle has over 130,000 miles on it, probably comprehend that that vehicle will probably need more work, and you'll probably look for something else with less mileage. Basically, weighing the plus and minuses of certain objects. Affectively based attitudes. Attitudes based more on people's feelings and values than on beliefs about the nature of the object. Examples. When you feel strongly attracted to objects regardless of negative beliefs, like the car, if you like it regardless of the mileage or a couple of the rough spots on the back, you're probably just going to take it anyway just because that's how you feel about it. Same can go for politics, religion, and it's more of a heart-based decision. Politics. People who voted for Trump, Hillary have their own personal beliefs about each candidate, good or bad. Certain issues politicians stand for can be voted for on pure belief. For example, abortion, people who will vote for pro-choice, or they will vote for it to be illegal. Behaviorally based attitudes. Attitudes based on observations of how people behave towards an object. How much someone likes coffee could be justified by them getting and consuming coffee often and consistently, either going to Starbucks, going to Dunkin' Donuts on a regular basis. The same can go for sports. I only like football because I've played it all my life, or the same can go for baseball, soccer, tennis, any other sport. Explicit versus implicit attitudes. Attitudes that are easily, consciously endorsed. All races are equal. That's a simple one. Implicit attitudes, best defined as involuntary and uncontrollable. Racists who grew up in a culture who have many negative stereotypes will probably grow up to be a little bit more have kind of a bias towards race. This is a theory of planned behavior, and I like this graph compared to smoking. The attitude towards behavior. Smoking is bad for you. Smoking costs a lot of money. It can be difficult to stop. Some of the subjective norms. I would be the only smoker in my peer group. My friends like smoking. Perceived behavioral control. I'm not sure I could stop smoking when I wanted to. Once you hit the intention to stop smoking, you actually have to go to the actual behavior to actually not smoke or stop smoking. But this for smoking is a lot harder said than done. It is more of a lifestyle change than anything, and more of a mental thing. The theory of planned behavior has a lot to do with predictions. Example, you can relate this to chess by determining the options you have available on the board, then determining the best possible outcome, then executing a move. You move your pawn up one square to protect your king in upcoming moves. Even though it looks like a simple move to the other opponent at first, you are setting up for the long road. Theory of planned behavior in current events. Gambling odds is a big one. In basketball, it could be football too. People would bet on the Golden State Warriors to win the championship based on prior performances, which could be due to stats during the regular season and postseason. Like, for example, the Warriors won 73 games and only lost 9. They were the favorites going into the playoffs, and about 75% of people in Vegas were taking the Golden State Warriors to win. Just so happens to have the underdog having to win that year, but the majority of the time, you have to take the over in the odds. Football will be more of an instinctive decision based on how well teams play against top 25 teams in relation to college football. More often than not, the top choice would be Alabama to win a championship based on schedule strength, statistics against ranked opponents, and a conference title. Another stat that you can't really write on paper is how well they're coached. And they have a system in there at Alabama for as many years as I can remember, and they're always at least in the top 10 for like the past 15 years. We're going to turn over to the election part of this current event. Mrs. Clinton was a Democratic representative by social culture. More often than not, the Democrats are loyal to their party. And predictive behavior shows that if you voted for Obama, you would more than likely vote for Hillary Clinton. The same would apply for the Republican Party. This is just based on if you are uneducated on both parties and you were just voting on just a party in general. It could be certain people are Democrats through generations, and some people are Republicans through generations also. It can also be certain parties represent an issue that you stand for, like gun restrictions. You would probably be more intrigued by the Democratic Party of the recent elections than the Democratic side. Your vote could also be casted by a social standard. These people would be hypothetically uneducated on candidates. If a majority of your peers voted for one party, the outcome of your vote would show in favor of the social norms and cues, mostly trying to avoid conflict. And same goes with your family too. If you voted for someone else and your family voted for another candidate, your family would like look at you funny. This theory of planned behavior can help those understand these current events on the sense that you take in your surroundings before you choose a behavior or action. Your attitude can determine choice. Example, which type of music you prefer at a certain time. Like you listen to Drake when you're in your feelings or something like that. Then you listen to like rock when you're trying to play a football game. It just depends on your mood too, mood and attitude. Your behavior and feeling towards candidates and issues and beliefs can sway your vote the other way. Say Trump says something redundant and out of the ordinary, which isn't unlikely. Some people who don't like that would probably sway their vote to third party or the Democratic side. Your sports predictions are based on planned statistics. Like the Steelers will beat the Browns based on the fact that the Browns are statistically bad playing road games in Pittsburgh. To add on top of that, the Browns have probably won 2 games in the past 3 years. These are the sources I used for my slide. Thank you.